The following podcast contains spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised. Hello and welcome to Animated Anarchy, the show that takes a critical look at animated features of all kinds to determine the good from the bad. Hello, I'm Andrew Dickman.
And I'm Mike Ruocco.
And we're back. A podcast story. And if that doesn't give you a clue as to what we're going to review, is also, hey, we're back.
Yeah. We've been gone for a little while.
We have been gone for a while.
We've been busy.
We took a break, a brief hiatus, because well, let's face it, we're both busy fellows.
We both work full-time.
Yeah, we both work full-time, and honestly, I personally needed a little bit of a break because I've been doing so many things at once, and I just kind of wanted to relax a little bit. I've been working. I mean, we work together, of course, and doing animation as a full-time job kind of takes a lot out of you, and only having like about 3 to 4 hours a night to just kind of do side stuff is a little draining on me.
Yeah.
So, but I feel that we're good. We're good. A podcast story that we're gonna do this again.
We're trying to make it a regular thing.
Yeah, and I know that there have been a lot of folks out there who have been patiently waiting for a return. All 10 of you, which thank you so much for being such a wonderful, loyal listener, and also to folks who are just new to the show. We have an entire backlog of stuff that you can listen to, and you can catch up then, and we'll wait for you. We'll be back. We're right
back
here.
In 12 hours.
We're right here. A dinosaur story.
We're here.
Yeah, and So thank you again for joining us for another Animated Anarchy episode, and after a couple months. So, yes, Mike, how have you been doing?
I'm still breathing.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm here.
I can hear it.
But yeah, I've been really, I agree with you. We've been really busy, and I've been really tired. I'm usually comatose on the weekends, so I haven't really gotten out much.
Yeah, our weekends are usually the times that we kind of just use a stretcher.
I don't want to be near a screen, or a Cintiq or a pen.
We're in front of the computer a lot.
Oh God.
It's done are the days of pen and paper or pencil and paper.
Also, I already see Andrew for 8 hours a day. I didn't want to see him anymore. I needed a break, so we said, listen.
I don't want to have to see your ugly mug all the time.
It's like, all right, Andrew, I know you don't like looking at me, and I don't like looking at you. But I think we should take a little break. I think we should see other people.
And then that made working with each other rather awkward.
Yeah. So
after that conversation,
every once in a while, I'd turn to him and be like, "Hey, remember that thing we used to do? That thing? Remember the thing that we did?"
And I'm like, "Don't talk to me.
Shut up! I got drawings to do. I got a deadline to meet."
Yeah. So and that's all she wrote. It's like we're I think it was a nice summer break doing this for a while. So now we're back to school.
I think part of the reason also that we held off was that every time we record one of these things, we always have to turn off fans or ACs because it's background noise.
Yeah,
and it's really freaking hot.
Yes,
here.
Certainly. Yeah, especially
like I'm already feeling it in this room. Like we're back. I haven't been in this room in 3 or 4 months, and I'm like, oh, that's why we took a break. It's hot as hell in here already. It's We even started earlier in the day so we can avoid the heat.
And it was very overcast earlier this morning.
Yeah, but then they knew that we were going to record, so the sun was like, hi guys, and we're like, oh shit.
Oh God, it's the sun.
Oh great.
Damn it. Did you invite him, Mike? Did you invite the sun?
Hey, he followed me here.
God. All right.
All right, so either way, we're back.
Yeah,
and that's exactly.
We're going to be saying that a lot.
We originally had other plans,
yes,
and I get a message from Andrew in the middle of the night on my phone saying, "Hey, I got an idea." I said, "Why?" He's like, "Well, since we're back, I literally thought the phrase 'we're back,' and I think it's in the stars now. We have to talk about We're Back now, and I'm like, great.
The thing about this is that we make that joke a lot. We to each other. We just like, we're back, a dinosaur story. And we even made the joke like during the Good Dinosaur.
Well, I said the movie should have been called We're Bored, a Good Dinosaur Story.
Yeah, and then the CG movie is like We're Back, a disaster story.
We're Bland. A dinosaur.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been wanting to talk about this movie for a while. It's been on our list, and I figured how appropriate. You fight like a cow. No, we this movie just seemed worthy of a return.
And it's perfect because I haven't seen it in a few years, and I forgot how awkward it is.
It is. It's very awkward.
It's enjoyable, but really, like, you forget. Like, as a kid, you don't notice certain things.
There's a lot of background elements that are just kind of like, wow, what the hell happened there? Yeah. And the tone of it is very, like, very Spielbergian. It's like, let's try to put some sense of heartfelt emotion in this, but also not explain what the hell's going on.
You could tell that, like, I feel like part of it was like, man, like, I did Land Before Time with Don Bluth years ago, and I did Jurassic Park. I freaking love dinosaurs, man. I want to do another one. Don Bluth is going, all right, so let's just get some of the guys who did
I'm really curious because Steven Spielberg has worked with so many different people in the animation industry.
Well, he's a huge animation fan.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's great. Well, not anymore. I don't think he does anything with animation.
He still likes animation, just doesn't do it. I mean, he wanted to do Tintin for years, and then he
that's right. Yeah, Tintin, which that was a decent movie. I thought it was okay.
Tintin.
But yeah, you kind of have to wonder, it's like, what do you feel his relationship was with Don Bluth at the time? Do you think it was just like,
he obviously stopped making movies with him. So
yeah, exactly. You kind of have to wonder. But then he went to was this a studio that he kind of produced himself?
Well, Amblin was his studio. I mean, it had the ET logo and everything. It was under his. So Amblimation was just sort of a offshoot of the Amblin company that he found. I guess he and like Kathleen Kennedy and all the people in Universal. So there was this. He wanted to open up a branch. That was his. I mean, technically, Roger Rabbit was under the Amblin. Was under Amblin as well.
Kind of. Yeah, and well, I mean, also as well, probably Tiny Toons. Wasn't there some sort of connection with Amblimation on that? Or no?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I think he produced it, but and all the same people through Amblin, I think, produced it.
It's probably because the show had so many ET references in it that I think that I always see that Amblin logo.
There was at least
logo.
3. Yeah, I remember 3 specifically.
Yeah, so it's like when you think of that logo, you just think of the ET movie. So it's like, all right, okay, that's Amblin.
You're right. So then they had Amblimation, which is what they formed, I guess, after they split with Don Bluth. It's like, why don't we make our own movie? So they did Five-O Goes West. They did a sequel to American Tail.
Yeah.
And at the same time, either before or right after, they did the Opus Christmas special, Wish for Wings That Work, which was around the same time. And then they did We're Back right after.
Yeah. And then afterwards, it kind of moved on to other things.
They went on, like, it kind of went to almost Balto. It was like Balto, I think.
Yeah, most of the people went to Balto,
I think
right?
Balto was Amblin. It was a lot of the same people who went and worked on Balto.
But wasn't it also Nelvana or something?
Nelvana, you're thinking of, because the logos are maybe similar, but Nelvana, I don't think it was.
You're thinking
of the polar bears.
Yeah, exactly. I always think of logos when it comes to who's involved with something. It's
right. But then, like, eventually,
so whenever there's an animated movie that doesn't really have like an animated logo that like kind of identifies with whatever it is, I always lose that that concept of like who's connected to this, because this isn't really. I mean, it's Universal, but for the longest time, I thought this was a Don Bluth movie.
It feels like it. And then you realize after we looked at the credits, we realized a lot of people that were ex-Don Bluth guys were involved in this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And you could tell.
Yeah.
In certain scenes, like,
huge mouths.
Huge mouths and
very eccentric movements.
Yeah. And also, like, Amblin kind of dissipated after Balto, and it kind of split. People went either to DreamWorks to do on their movies, or they went to Warner Brothers, when they were doing
Animation
movies,
just kind of slowly disappeared
after Balto.
Yeah.
They were going to do, I know they were going to do an adaptation of Cats, the Broadway show, and it's like, okay, how would that
That would have been interesting.
I've seen some concept art. It looks great, but
Yeah.
at the same time, you're like, Cats? Really?
Yeah, cats.
Oy. But
What about dogs?
who cares about them?
Yeah, so let's start off with this movie. We begin the movie with a golf ball
And birds.
and birds. There is a family of birds, and there's one particular bird who later in the movie you find out is like
A little boy.
the little boy.
version.
There's a little boy later on in this movie who is basically the same as this bird, and it's like I don't know what connection you make with this other than the fact that this bird, I guess, is fed up with his family life. He is bullied by his brother birds. He doesn't get to eat.
He's overly loved by his mother bird. And
He's overly loved. He feels smothered, which is a bad thing.
Well, Louis, and later in the movie, says that he was tired of his parents doting on him, so he left.
Right.
So it's a similar story.
So that's the story with that bird. And then the bird falls onto the golf ball, which is being struck by a dinosaur voiced by John...
Cheezosaurus Rex is playing golf.
Cheezosaurus Rex.
Is playing golf on a rooftop in New York City.
Voiced by John Goodman doing a...
He looks like Chevy Chase.
He looks like Chevy Chase doing a
Bing
Crosby impression.
Hey,
like,
there, hey Buster. How's it going? And he has a bit of a... He's wearing glasses, so he kind of looks like... He looks kind of like Hank Hill as a dinosaur. You just say, "Hey there, Buster. I'm playing some golf up here. You want some sugar crisp?
Well, hey,
some cereal, because he eats cereal
there,
in the movie."
little bird. How would you like some propane or propane accessories?
And the thing also we noticed at the beginning of the movie, and we were like, during the bird fight scene, it's like, oh my God, the lip sync is way off.
Yeah.
And we thought it was just for that scene, but it actually
it carries on
throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, there are scenes where the lip sync just kind of goes like way off. It's either, especially when you see the character from a distance, you just see the mouth going like, no,
they're never actually
but
hitting.
There's like,
they're never actually hitting their consonant closed mouths. And then also, like, we thought it was either one of three things. One, mostly foreign animators that spoke another language or knew another language, but English definitely wasn't their first language, so they had to animate in English.
Yeah,
which I thought was one. Two,
there was
line changes, so they had to use the old animation for new and record ADR over lines.
Yeah.
Or three, in the case of Jay fucking Leno, he probably just afterwards improv'd a bunch of shit, and they tried to fit it over the old animation, and it just never matched up.
Yeah, that was.
I hate Jay Leno.
Well, we'll get to that in a moment, but the animation is fairly. I mean, like
it's nice. It looks great.
It's complicated because it's the fact that it's very well done, but it doesn't really sync up a lot to what's happening. And, a lot of stuff happens at once in this movie. And, okay, so anyway, John Goodman, Rex, talks to this little bird. He's like, "Hey, I once knew a boy just like you, and I'm going to tell you a story about that. Oh, I was once a..." Okay, here's the moral issue I have with this movie. Is like, he talks about how he used to be a savage, meat-eating dinosaur because the bird questions like, "Aren't you supposed to be a vicious, brutish beast?" It's like, "I used to be, but that was when I was really old and young and dumb."
It's like, I was a stupid dinosaur.
A stupid dinosaur. All I wanted to do was eat.
And he says it a lot. He goes, "I was a real animal."
It does. And then we go back in time where
to what looks like Land Before Time. Like, even the art direction of that sequence looks like they ripped it right out.
Yeah, it looks like Sharptooth, but
it looks like Sharptooth.
Kind of not as detailed, but
very, very orange.
Yeah, an orange Sharptooth chasing a dinosaur which is screaming.
It sounds like the David and the Magic Pearl gorilla.
Oh yeah. So yeah. So Rex first off, ingenious name.
Original.
What else would you name him? I mean,
Ty
R.
My name's TR.
TR. And he's chasing this little dinosaur, and all of a sudden, a UFO from the sky just pops out a Jay Leno alien.
A spaceship flies out of Jay Leno? Is that what
No.
A big Jules Verne-esque flying machine opens up, and a tiny alien comes out. And when you hear, and
he won't shut up,
and he won't shut the hell up, and you realize,
hey, I'm gonna give you some cereal here.
It's Jay Leno doing a Ralph Bakshi impression on helium.
That's a
cereal.
But it almost feels like someone told, like, hey, Jay Leno, hey, Mr. Leno, you're going to be voicing a character in a animated movie. Oh, so it's a cartoon. I can do a cartoon character. No, you don't understand. You're going to, this is where you, no, I know what mother cartoon characters like. They talk about a lot. They do a lot of
he
stuff.
plays pretty much Green Quisp, giving cereal away. But the thing is, they probably said, okay,
nothing he said.
Look at the script. It's about he's trying to convince the T-Rex to go in the ship and eat some of this brain grain cereal.
I got it.
I'll just improv. I know the gist of it. I just tell him the dinosaur to eat some cereal.
Comedy. I know cartoon. Yeah. And nothing he says is intelligible.
I can't understand a word he says.
You can't understand what he's saying because, first off, it never syncs up with what he's saying in animation. In the animation,
the lip sync doesn't.
And
match.
Also, everything he says is almost kind of mumbled in between his lips. And it's like, that giant chin is probably muffling everything that he's saying.
He keeps bumping the mic like this.
With his
he lifts his head. He's like, all right, now back up about 15 feet so you can get away from this mic.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'm sorry. That's a low blow. Enough with the chin jokes.
We only did one.
I know, but I don't want to keep going with it just because...
Because all that matters here is his voice.
Right.
His chin doesn't play into this character. In fact, the character has no chin.
Right. But his teeth are as green as his skin.
He's got Shrek ears. It looks like if you cross Ducky, Quisp, and then Shrek into a little alien.
But you're not really paying attention to anything he's saying anyway, because you're paying attention to the action that is happening. So anything that he's saying is completely out the window anyway.
Yeah.
So I feel like he said some stuff. He said something about... cereal and feeding it to the dinosaur and saying its brain something, and then that just kind of disappears.
The one of the dinosaur wants to eat him. He just wants him to shut up.
Yeah. But anyway, going back to my moral discussion of this, is like, so this stuff that they're feeding the dinosaur basically turns it into like an intelligent creature, which more or less turns it into a cartoon character. It's like, now he can talk and say things, and now he's just like, oh, I'm just a friendly little dinosaur. Oh, I don't want to eat creatures anymore. I was such an animal. I wanted to eat creatures all the time. I wanted to rip their flesh out, but not anymore. I'm not a killing machine. An animal has to eat. So we're basically saying that dinosaurs, by instinct, are pure evil. This is the problem that I had with the Minions movie.
Yeah.
Where I didn't even see the movie, but I remember seeing in the trailer, the Minions are like, they're supposed to be drawn toward anyone that is despicable. And the first creature that they saw was a dinosaur, the T-Rex. And first thing I'm thinking is like, why is a T-Rex despicable? It has to eat. It's a creature of habit.
It's supposed to be the most evil creature.
Yeah, the most evil.
It's an evil creature that's just hungry.
It's like saying a tiger is an evil creature just because it eats like other creatures, and it has to sustain itself. So
if you're lower on the food chain than something, anything above you is evil.
Yeah, pretty much. And so that's the whole concept.
So Jay Leno hijacks. He pretty much force feeds this dinosaur cereal.
Yeah, they force feed it like foie gras, like
pretty much the
Like a goose.
The first instance of foie gras goose stuffing. But with a dinosaur.
Because these tubes just are shoved down the dinosaur's throat, and he's just like... And
then surprisingly, even though he's supposedly smarter and more intelligent, his cranium gets smaller, and his eyes get bigger, and he gets this giant wet sandwich mouth.
And he starts singing Row, 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 Your Boat.
I guess when you eat cereal, that's one of the first things you learn.
Daisy, Daisy.
And then he
give me your hands.
And so he gets more saturated in color. He looks like, and the thing is, people have asked me what character designs I can't stand, and I always go to the Land Before Time dinosaurs because no dinosaur should look like, a rubber suit with eyelashes and cheeks and all that stuff.
The eyelashes is always what gets me.
So in the case of We're Back,
hey, I'm cute. I'm adorable.
I have Schweckias with no stalks on them. But then you look at the We're Back dinosaurs, and I always compare because with this movie specifically, because there are Macy's balloons in this movie, they look more like Macy's Thanksgiving Day balloons than the actual Macy's Thanksgiving Day balloons in the movie do.
And which is hilarious because the Macy's Day Parade,
they had a balloon.
They had a balloon of Rex, which apparently popped. Its head popped and deflated, and they still had the body. So they were guarding this.
There's got to be pictures on Google of this full T-Rex body with
there has to be
ripped rubber head.
Mommy, look at the dinosaur! Oh God, Rex's head is gone.
Orange entrails coming out of his neck, but. Yeah, so
mac and cheese coming out.
Yeah, fucking Cheezosaurus Rex comes down the street.
Yeah.
His head bursts. He was too cheesy. He was dangerously cheesy.
Oh.
So anyway, little shitty Jay Leno alien introduced John Goodman, Bing Crosby, Hank Hill, Chevy Chase dinosaur to the other dinosaurs who are just eating hot dogs?
Yeah, they're eating hot dogs. There's a Triceratops and a whatever the hell it is. A ducky. It's voiced by
Charles Fleischer.
Charles Fleischer, who's it's a bit of a waste of Charles Fleischer.
Here's what probably happened. He was like, after Roger Rabbit, he was like, I'm not doing much of anything besides Roger Rabbit. And at that point, they were stopping. They weren't doing that many Roger Rabbit things anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So there probably was like a pity thing, like, all right, well, we know you. We'll give you a voice. You'll play Dweeb, the green, he looks like 50s Goofy as a dinosaur. His teeth are together, and he's got like the slight bag under his eyes, and he's just a green mess.
Howdy, ma'am.
Howdy, ma'am. It's her. And then Rhea Perlman plays a pterodactyl. And then there's a character who I think most of the things he says is just, I'm woo. I think he says it about 7 or 8 times in the movie.
He's the Triceratops equivalent of Groot. It's like, I'm woo. And it just sounds like he's trying to say an actual name, but his brain has no capacity for it. So whenever he does say his real name, it's like, hi, I'm woo. It just goes into like a stroke.
But yeah, and he's a big, it's like you have every color in the rainbow. You got a purple dinosaur, a green one, a blue one, and an orange one.
Yeah.
And then we're introduced to...
Which you told me that's the colors of... This was based on
a children's book. And if you go on... Buy it on Amazon. We're promoting Amazon. Buy it on Amazon. If you look at the picture, if you just go on Google and just search for We're Back, a Dinosaur Story book, it's the cover of the book kind of looks like the movie poster for the movie. But... It's very. I mean, the thing is, they look like
it's more like a kid's book.
It's a kid's book illustration, but it looks. They look like real dinosaurs, but they're just these bright colors.
Yeah,
it looks really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen the book itself. I've just seen the cover and some of the illustrations on the book.
Yeah, I know nothing about the book. I didn't even know this was based off a book. So
all great stories are based on books. So that he's introduced.
All great movies are ruined.
So now all the dinosaurs are against their will forced to eat hot dogs and cereal.
Yeah, which also kind of like brings up more questions because the Triceratops and the duck-billed platypus dinosaur, they're herbivores. So why are they eating hot dogs?
Is there really any meat in hot dogs? Well, I guess bugs. bugs and horse testicles and maybe leaves. I don't
Probably
know.
quite a few. There's very little actual nutrition in a hot dog. So yeah, they're eating hot dogs, and I guess that's like not as savage. So it's
Sure.
like, oh, I used to eat meat all the time. Oh, pass over that sausage, will you?
And like you find out that the pterodactyl loved the sauerkraut so much she laid an egg.
Oh, that was a weird joke.
I laid an egg.
I laid an egg.
And then you find out that like she apparently has feelings for a T-Rex.
Oh, immediately.
Like immediately. Like she literally comes onto him right when he walks in the door.
It's hilarious how immediate this sort of love connection is.
There's a lot of that in this movie.
Yeah. Oh God, there's a lot of that. And yeah, so the pterodactyl hits on Rex, and then they introduce each other, and yeah,
Boog shows off his stepped-on dinosaur foot.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah, which is animated twice. And then they meet
Professor New Eyes.
Professor New Eyes, who is voiced by Walter Cronkite.
Walter Cronkite.
Which, honestly, he is such a warm and embracing character in this movie.
I like him, and he's probably the best, the most
well-animated. Yeah. And he's like Mark Twain meets Walter Cronkite, you know? It's like,
you guys are dinosaurs, and I'm going to show you what it's like to make children happy with my Wish radio.
Yeah. I'm kind of wondering if Walter thought, while reading this, is like, this makes absolutely no sense, but whatever.
Well, I covered the Cuban Missile Crisis and things that make
but
less sense.
Anyway, Professor New Eyes' idea is to he has like a machine that, I mean, like
it emits wishes by children around the world.
Yeah, it shows, and through bubbles, like it shows the wishes of children, and he's saying the most wished thing that he heard wished was that children want to see real dinosaurs. So he says, like, but I couldn't bring a savage beast. I gave you some brain grain to make your brains smarter. And
copyright pending.
It's not actually my idea, but
someone comes out to him, the food board, says, "What do you put in your cereal?" And that's the way it is.
Well,
there's a lot of sugar in this cereal.
That's not an answer, Mr. New Eyes.
Well, it's filled with the wishes of children. And no, what?
Okay, we're gonna have to send the FDC to your department, and we're.
Oh my!
Yeah, and so yeah, I mean, honestly, New Eyes is probably the most heartwarming thing about this movie.
He's probably my favorite. He's one of my favorite.
He's one of my favorite characters. Yeah, and anytime he's on there, it's like I don't know. I just love Walter Cronkite's voice.
You want him to be your grandfather.
Yeah, and but then he like releases the dinosaurs like bombs down onto New York. He
carpet bombs New York City with dinosaurs with parachutes. It's like, okay,
you gave him dinosaurs. It's just like, what are you doing? You just slapped on parachutes without explaining what they do, and we're now in the air. We're gonna die. And well, he does exposit, which honestly, this is
he talks about. What he plans what the dinosaurs should do. They're going to go to New York City.
And they're going to go to the Museum of Natural History.
And there's a woman named Dr. Bleeb, who was voiced by Julia Child, the famous television cook.
Her name.
Her name was Dr. Bleeb. And I was like, what the hell?
Dr. Bleeb?
Because it's like Dweeb, Bleeb, Woog. And then Elsa.
Oh yeah, Elsa. The pterodactyl's name is Elsa.
And Cecilia Nuthatch, Screw Eyes, Blue. What was the alien?
Vorb.
Vorb.
It's like, what's a name that we can think of off the top of our head? I don't know. It's just name him Dr. Bleeb.
Dr. Bleeb. And she kind of
looks voiced by Julia Child.
Yeah, and she kind of looks like. If one of the like things from Beauty and the Beast, like an appliance, like a clock or something, started turning back into a human and just sort of stopped halfway. Like imagine like an Animorph version of Beauty and the Beast, where you see an appliance and then the real person. And she's the halfway point between those two.
She basically states everything, because she puts up posters of the Natural History Museum, and she just always says whatever the poster says. It's like if she's writing welcome, she goes welcome, welcome, and then if there's a Natural History Museum, like Natural History Museum.
And even like she even says at the point like, "Oh, curse my lateness!" Like she's always late.
Oh, curse my lateness.
We'll rendezvous.
Oh yeah, that's when the dinosaurs actually land into.
They land in New York. They land in the harbor.
Yeah,
and they crash into our little boy hero.
Yeah, Tom.
Louis. But he's on a raft. Wanting to, it's like, okay, he wants to leave. Here's the thing: he wants to leave and join the circus. That's his thing.
That's his thing.
Why did he build a raft with a breakfast machine?
Oh yeah,
that makes fried egg sandwiches.
Because that was the thing of the time. If you had a breakfast machine, you were set. Pee-wee had a breakfast machine.
Batteries not included.
The Doc from Back to the Future had a breakfast machine. What else had a breakfast machine? There was tons of stuff. Every cartoon probably had a breakfast machine. So this kid obviously
he figured out how to build a breakfast machine on a
raft, on like a little makeshift raft.
And he's eating an egg sandwich and
on the New York Harbor.
In New York Harbor. But he wants to join the circus. Why did he build a raft? Where does he think he's going to go? Out to sea?
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to find a circus out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So the dinosaurs carpet bomb on top of him.
Yeah.
And, he takes them very well. He takes the sudden appearance of dinosaurs.
Yeah, there's like probably 5 seconds where he's actually amazed by what he's looking at, and then that is completely gone. Like,
then he turns into
this is nothing.
John Travolta is a child.
I mean, I've seen some shit in New York, but
dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. I mean, come on, that's nothing.
And like, he pretty much turns into the. Do you remember the mouse from American Tail?
Oh yes,
Tony.
Yeah.
Hey Philly. He's pretty much that mouse.
Hey Philly. Yeah,
he's that mouse.
He even looks like him, like as a human, like version of him.
Yeah.
Wow. So, they
He kind of looks like the human version of Diggum, the Sugar Smacks frog, with the red hat and the coat.
Right.
He looks really cool. And he goes, "Hey, I'm going to show you guys New York City."
Yeah. It's the start of the 90s child.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this kid is like absolutely not fazed at all by the dinosaurs, and just explains that he's going to run away from the circus because his mom was coddling him too much. Ooh.
She was kissing me in public.
Oh, God. Ew.
Oh, no.
Which, I mean, it's funny. I mean, that's...
Well, kids can run away for stupider reasons.
Yeah. So. I honestly... it's a very dulled down version of what could be even more awful.
Yeah.
For this child, it's like, oh, my dad beats me every day, and my mom just watches.
My dad is a drinking problem, and I had to leave and join the circus.
Oh, well, we're going to the Museum of Natural History. Wink. And so then
so they get into the city, and first of all, I wondered, okay, they're in an alley in the middle of Midtown Manhattan. How did they not get spotted between the harbor and then? And then they're like, well, you're gonna get caught. We gotta figure out. Wait, what were they? Oh, they're figuring out a way. They wanted to find a way to sneak them into the city.
Yeah.
And so they fly. He flies the pterodactyl in a very, at the time, it was probably really great, but now you look at it, very limited CG.
Yeah.
Set piece of them flying around, going down buildings and stuff. And they see that the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is going on that day. It's Thanksgiving Day that they're there. And
we could sneak you in as balloons. No one will notice. Yeah.
Right. And so on the way back, they run into they pass by a crying girl,
Yardley Smith.
Yardley Smith, who is Lisa Simpson.
She's just Yardley Smith.
Just Yardley Smith.
She doesn't need a name. She's just
Yardley Smith. And then
we call her Lisa.
Lisa. So anyway, he stops and her hat flies off because she's crying on her balcony of her very posh
Which is
penthouse.
a Thanksgiving hat, by the way.
Which is, yeah, and then...
Which is funny because, like, earlier on during the wishes, there's a child looking through a
store window,
and sees, like, I wish I had a Thanksgiving hat. And the first
I've
thing we
never
thought
heard of a Thanksgiving hat before.
I have never heard of one too,
Maybe
but
it's something...
apparently that's what it is. And,
maybe the people who made this movie, like when they were little kids, that was a thing.
But Yardley Smith had a Thanksgiving hat, and it flew out into the wind, and the boy caught it and said, like, whoa, we gotta return this. Oh yeah, we got, and then they land on her building, which is like on the top.
She lives in a penthouse suite on the top of a building, and he like. You know, her parents are very social butterflies, and so they spend a lot of time out, but not really with her, and she feels lonely.
There, which is, rich child.
And at one point, we were watching the movie, and then they're like, "Oh, it's my parents," and then Louis goes, "What's the matter? They beat you?" And we looked at each other like, "Whoa!"
He was like, "Yeah, that's your first. That's your first thought."
Yeah, you don't like turkey? They beat you? What? And you're like, "Oh," and then
would have been great if she said yes. It's like. No, so what? Your parents beat you? Yes, mercilessly every day.
Oh, let's get you out of here.
All right, well, let's bolt.
But then he's like, "Well, I'm joining the circus," and then she's like,
by the way, she immediately latches onto this boy.
Because she probably.
I mean, like at first it's like I'm not crying. Like she's like, oh no, I'm not crying. Like, but then like after a while, she's just like, sure, I'll go with you to the Macy's Day Parade. Yeah.
Let me fill you up inside your coat.
She is constantly pawing and like snuggling up against him.
Oh,
and like,
man.
Yeah. She is like she's a hussy. Between
her and him.
Yeah.
And the pterodactyl and Rex, it's really like
there's like a
lot of coming on to.
Yeah, it's like boy meets girl. Girl immediately latches on to boy.
Girl immediately is smitten with Dinosaur. No, but so anyway, so he's like, join the circus, and she thinks about it. She's like, okay, I will. Yeah. She throws the hat away, and then we have a nice little. It's a cute little moment.
The kid from earlier
and I have a feeling most like current student films are based off this one sequence. Let's have a nice quiet moment with a girl who wants something and she gets it.
Somewhere here there's a Pixar film, but there's not.
Literally an entire Pixar film in 20 seconds. And it's a little girl, she gets her wish.
There's some good acting in that, by the way.
It's wonderful. So, whoever animated it, very nice. Yeah, silent.
It was a much more thoughtful scene than most of the movie.
The thing is, we noticed that this movie really tries to be heartfelt, and it doesn't come across 100%.
No.
But that's probably one of the few really heartfelt moments that feel really genuine.
Yeah, and it was nice. It was kind of cute. It was like the girl from earlier who wished for a Thanksgiving hat, whatever the hell that was.
Well, it's a simple wish.
And then she got it. So
good.
There you go.
She's little.
Her wish was fulfilled.
Yeah. So then you get to the parade, and this is like the set piece. When most people think of this movie, they think of this song number.
Yeah, because this was the only song. This is the only song of the movie, but it's also the only song, the only sequence that was ever seen in the trailers. I feel.
Yeah, just them parading in New York City.
Yeah, move back the clock,
roll back the rock to the dawn. And the thing is, I've noticed whenever someone starts singing this song. Someone else immediately goes, "Oh, shut up! Don't sing that song."
It's a catchy song.
It's a catchy song.
It's
I like
not bad. It's a cute sequence, honestly.
I remember as a kid being just more amused by the fact that there's like, this is a movie about dinosaurs. Why is there Snoopy and Spider-Man and Woody Woodpecker and Clifford the Big Red Dog? Like, why are they? And then you realize, oh, they're licensed.
Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah, Woody Woodpecker. It's made by Universal.
Universal, so of course.
So they can put Woody in it. Yeah. But
is that what do we have at the time? Oh, we got Spider-Man in our parks right now. Why don't we?
Yeah, and the thing about also like Spider-Man, like, and at one point,
I remember at the time actually at Universal Studios Hollywood, they had a Spider-Man stunt show, and that particular area, which is now the special effects area, that spot would have a different Marvel thing almost every other month. It was like, first it was Spider-Man, then it was the Hulk, and then it was the
X-Men.
And then,
Thor.
It was like, I saw all of these, honestly. I just remember the X-Men being like, everyone was like, boo, it's Magneto, boo, hiss. It was hilarious. But yeah, that spot had a ton of like Marvel properties to it.
Yeah.
So
now Disney's
of course
got 'em.
they have. Now Disney's got them, and
Yeah.
that's the reason why we don't see this movie on shelves that much. Or...
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm joking.
I mean, they finally put Rover Dangerfield on DVD. It took them 20 years.
Yeah,
but and I remember during the song, because this is a whole song where he sings this catchy song, and people think that they're robot dinosaurs and stuff. There's a
meanwhile, while this song is happening, this girl is like putting herself in the coat of this boy. Like, did you see that moment where she's just like,
how could you not? It was,
why don't you snuggle up
back
with me?
off.
It's like, my God, girl, lay off.
Well, she needed the social interaction. Her parents weren't around. She's locked in her penthouse all the time.
Yeah. No,
she's man.
Poor lonely child that needed love.
But at one point, I remember looking
desperately.
Every once in a while when I see something really strange on screen, I just think of the meeting. All right, Ted, here's what we need you to do. You need to animate the T-Rex jumping on a giant Spider-Man balloon and dancing and grinding on his back.
Yeah.
He rides him like a horse, like piggyback.
Right. But it's pretty funny.
It's really funny, but to think about. And then
but when the song stops, immediately the children are like, "Oh, we forgot the moment that I found hilarious was that in the beginning it was like, look, mommy, dinosaurs," and then the woman behind her is like, "Oh, they're not
robots.
They're not dinosaurs. They're not real. They're robots." And this poor child just like looks dejected.
I wish
they were real. I'm just like, dude, lady,
this is a parade. Who ruins a parade for a little girl?
Dude, it's like, this is a child. Let them have their fantasy, even if they're real or not. For God's sake.
Yeah. And then, so after the thing...
But when the song ends, it's like, oh, they are real, and everyone panics.
And there's always... And my favorite thing is that everyone's like, they're real. And then one guy just goes, real dinosaurs! And just runs away before everyone else does.
Which is like 5 frames of him running off.
And then you get these 2-frame, people passing by, stopping in the camera, screening for 2 seconds, and then running away.
It's like every frame of that entire sequence is probably a different drawing.
Yeah.
It's just like...
and then...
of different people just running scared.
Yeah, so Louis and...
Steven Spielberg being one of them.
So Louis and Cecilia get separated from the dinosaurs, and then he just says, meet us at Central Park. It's... okay? And it's like... And then...
the police come, and there's this like, all right, see ya.
See ya. We'll meet you there.
And the police are involved. They say, put your claws in the air.
They take out their billy clubs. Like, what is that going to do?
Yeah, they're gonna beat the dinosaurs with their nightsticks.
They probably couldn't show guns. Like the E.T. thing. They couldn't show... They replaced them with pointing walkie-talkies at the dinosaurs.
What are these policemen going to do to these dinosaurs? Stop resisting! Stop resisting! Stop resisting!
It's because I'm a dinosaur, isn't it? And so then you get this big chase where they're all split up and helicopters are chasing after pterodactyl.
This is a fun sequence, actually. Yeah. Where they're just being chased... I mean, they're not really being chased by the police. And they're just kind of like going through.
Tony Hawk's pro skaters up the Brooklyn Bridge
on a truck.
This is a weird thing I have about it. First of all, he goes in the truck and a radio turns on. It's a Larry King cameo.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite lines in the movie is that he's like, I think we got a caller about there's apparently dinosaurs in New York City. Here's a lady here on the phone. What did you say? Well, Larry, I was looking out my bathroom window and I saw a dinosaur. Well, thanks for calling. It's like it's a really weird way to kind of shoehorn Larry King into this movie.
Right, yeah.
And while this is going on...
Who's in New York? Larry King is. All right.
And they're all getting chased around. And at one point, there's no hookup as to where these dinosaurs are in relation to each other.
No. They just kind of meet up.
And then at one point, Rex is skateboarding on it. And then he grinds up the Brooklyn Bridge. And he looks down... And he sees the dinosaurs in the middle of the city, and he goes after them. I'm like, when did he go to Brooklyn? When did he cross the bridge into Brooklyn and come back? And then they pass by the MetLife building, and it's like, where are you coming from?
Right.
And then they go.
There's no sense of direction in this.
And then, it's really strange. And
then and then they fly into a building that's being demolished, and that.
First of all, it's the most explosive demolition I've ever seen. And then you cut wide, and you see the dinosaurs get blasted into the sky and crash into Central Park. But you see the shot, we see them blast out. It blew up 6 city blocks. It looks like a terrorist attack.
I know. Well,
who blows up a building on Thanksgiving? It's Thanksgiving Day. There's a parade. Who blows up a building on Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah.
Who's working that day? Well, I don't eat turkey. I'm going to blow up a building. Demolish a building.
Yeah, that is kind of... I didn't think about that, actually.
Yeah.
I was just, like, thinking, it's like, this building being demolished in the middle of the city, just, like, huge ass explosion.
Oh my God, we forgot to mention. Oh my God. It's probably my favorite piece of animation in the whole movie. There's a scene where they're waiting for the pterodactyl to come back, and they're in an alley, and they see some kids playing basketball.
Oh, yes.
And there's like this really cartoony animation of a kid who tries to hit a ball into the hoop. It hits him, and he does like a flip, like a cartoony flip.
And falls straight on his back onto the court. Just like... throws the ball, it hits him smack in the face.
He does a flip.
He does a flip, and then bam, like Charlie Brown's just
and like Fretz is watching the whole time, like, yeah, I want to play some basketball. Like, you think there's going to be a moment where he's going to, like, later in the movie play some basketball?
Yeah.
It's just a throwaway shot.
Right.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to stop in the
It
middle,
was just
but
a
I just
nice little background distraction from the actual
There's scenes in this movie where the animation is just hilariously, like, it's bad,
but it's like, it's well done, but it's also kind of out of place.
Yeah, like, where you see, like, it's supposed to be a really sincere moment, then you see, like, people scream until their hair falls out.
Oh, yeah.
And shit like that.
Right. Well, and which brings us to our next scene, which is suddenly night.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as they're in Central Park, it is dark. There's, like, no sun or light whatsoever. And
just like Central Park in real life, it's creepy at night.
Right. And
at least in the 90s, it was really... I mean, it's cleaned up a bit
and the circus is, like, just around the corner, lights up, and the kids meet up with, like, some punks or some carnies that just
I assume they're carnies.
Yeah, that just, like, walked by. It's like, hey, kid. Yeah, it's just like, I want you to watch where you're going. And then he's all acting
Shanks
tough.
Louis.
Yeah, Shanks.
Louis trying
But
to
that would have
tough.
been a much different scenario. But honestly, it's more like, hey, what you talking about? Get out of my face, huh?
Better listen to your girlfriend, punk. You know, like, really stupid. And they just leave.
Yeah, they just leave. It's like, wow, that kid really told you.
Yeah, and then they finally meet the villain of the movie, Professor Screw Eyes.
Professor Screw Eyes.
And
who they don't know about because the T-Rex hasn't really warned them about it.
Right. But the thing about also is that I noticed on the poster, it's Professor Screw Eyes Eccentric Circus.
Yeah.
Okay, eccentric.
In what?
Cirque du Soleil is an eccentric circus.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing truly eccentric. That's not the word I would use. It would be like frightening, scary circus.
Yeah, that would have been
circus of horrors. Eccentric circus means there's probably going to be some naked clowns and
that doesn't really set up the whole concept of his circus, which is basically, I'm a circus of horrors. I want to frighten people and be like malicious and like Universal during Halloween.
I want to frighten people.
I want to scare people. I don't want to be like a regular circus.
Yeah. So
which isn't really like, I feel like that could have been established a little bit better.
A Rob Zombie circus.
Zombie circus. So yeah, as they're going in, they see he's being attempted to be entertained by a clown named Stubbs,
voiced by Martin
Short. Which I'm gonna be honest, I don't not like Martin Short.
I like Martin Short.
Whenever he is voicing a character, he always seems to do a good job. Like
he gets into it.
Yeah, like the Madagascar 3 movie.
He played a circus.
He was the seal. He was hilarious in that. I loved his character in that. And as Stubbs, it's like, he's pretty funny.
Yeah, I actually like the animation. I like the character.
Yeah, the animation is really well done on him. He's very silly. Like,
him and New Eyes are my favorite characters in the movie.
Yeah, they would be. And for me, honestly, Screw Eyes is a very. I think he's a very well animated character. The problem with him is that nothing is synced up to him, and everything that he says is. I feel like because I showed you a deleted scene before we did this podcast. Like, after we saw the movie, I said there was a deleted scene where Professor Screw Eyes explains how he lost his eye. And I thought that if they left this in, he would have been a much more intimidating character.
But it was cut for being too scary.
It was cut for being like a little bit too
intimidating.
And so, but what I noticed about that deleted scene is that it was voiceover by probably either one of the animators or a board artist. It was like it was. I
think what happened was,
what's it called? Like it's scratch track. It's a scratch track. Of,
I think it might not even be a scratch track. It might be someone who just.
So?
I think they probably just found the work print, and the guy who made the video just did his voiceover over it.
Really?
I think so.
I don't know, because I feel almost as if they did not record any of Kenny Mars's dialogue.
They had to have, because they're animating to it.
Yeah, they had to have.
Yeah. So I think
it just seemed a little weird how there are moments where it's like the acting goes along with the voice, and then there's moments where it just kind of like disappears. It's like it doesn't really fit with what he's saying, and also it's just kind of like doing whatever Muppet Mouth is trying to do with the dialogue. So I don't know. I am kind of half and half with Screw Eyes, because
he's really well animated. I love Kenneth Mars.
They could have done a lot of really intimidating things with him, but I think that is all kind of thrown under the bus because in the beginning of it they exposize that he is the bad guy. They just literally just say it's like, that's the bad guy. Because Walter Cronkite's character in the beginning says like, beware my brother, Professor Screw Eyes.
He went mad.
He went mad after he lost his eye, and I didn't try to help him whatsoever. So he's evil now, whatever. So
he even calls him his demented brother.
It almost would have felt better if he just said, meet up with Dr. Bleeb. And that was it. Don't even mention his brother. Like, it would have been great if it was like, all of a sudden you meet him and he's like the polar opposite of New Eyes. And he says like, what? You know my brother? Yes. Oh, that goody two shoes. And
he sounds like George Bush. Kenneth Mars just going like, and I what did I reference? I referenced that Ronald Reagan voice character in Tiny Toons, where he goes, my fellow Americans, 2 rabbits and a duck in a stinky bag will fall into this cup of lukewarm jello. And he sounds like he's doing like a George Bush, like, well, kids, you're going to join my circus and take the brain drain and set the kids free. Like, it's just...
Yeah, that's a pretty good impression, actually.
You'll sign this contract. And like, it's just... Yeah, and it's... And he
sign this contract.
He has... And then he has... Oh, they're adorable. But we have... the kids come and he makes them sign a contract in blood.
Yeah, and that is like not even. I mean, I feel like I lost some like lines before that happened, because I feel like the kid didn't even say that he wanted to join.
Well,
the
he said he
circus.
wanted to join. He's like, you joined the wrong circus, kid. Get out of here. You suck.
You suck.
He's pretty much just doing. I'm just doing like Jim Carrey's Grinch at this point.
But I did feel like there was some lines missing in that. It felt
weirdly edited.
Yeah, it did feel very oddly cut, where it's just like, I want to join the circus. Nah, you're not part of the circus. Well, here's a contract, see?
Yeah.
And
if you want to join the circus, you gotta sign this contract.
Yeah, and then he pricks him in the finger, and then he signs it with blood, and then the girl does it too.
Because she wants to be with him.
Oh yeah, she wants. Yeah, she wants his babies.
Yeah,
that's what she wants.
I want to see you guys as monkeys in the circus. You're doing it like the Discovery Channel. But so he signs the contract, and then right when they sign the contract, the dinosaurs show up.
Yeah, and they say like, no, he's a bad guy. My brother.
They signed a contract. It's legal. They're going to be with me for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And then he brings out the brain drain, which is now like,
which looks like ecstasy pills. They look like ecstasy pills.
It's glowing pills.
First one's free, kid.
Yeah.
And then we don't see him feed it to him, but it's suggested that he fed them.
You can't show them actually taking pills.
No, so these kids like devolve into monkeys.
I'm going to put them in my Hell's a Poppin' show.
And then Bowser from the Mario Brothers movie goes like, monkey! And then... Which is exactly the same thing almost.
Right.
But yeah, the dinosaur's like, no, turn him back. You can't, see? It's on the contract, see? It's in the contract, see?
But yeah, then he goes like, I'll tear up this
It's
contract.
how I talk, see?
Jesus Christ.
Why is he back to a Dave Chappelle sketch?
Why are you making him sound like Edward G. Robinson, even though he sounds like George Bush? guys, I'm gonna make these guys sign this contract, and I'll tear it up if you guys take these drugs and turn into evil dinosaurs again, and I'll make you. It sounds, when you describe it, it sounds really stupid. So this guy I have a missing eye, and I have a screw in my eye. I got screwed in the eye by these crows, and now I'm gonna make these kids turn into monkeys. But I'll tear up the contract to be monkeys if they take these drugs. They make you turn into evil dinosaurs. Join my evil circus. It sounds really stupid.
It's like trying to describe Space Jam almost in a way, you know? It's like almost
Michael Jordan is space aliens want to capture the Looney Tunes in slavery for a theme park, but they win at a basketball game.
But yeah,
especially if it's described by Screw Eyes, it makes less sense.
But yeah, then there's this moment where it's just like, okay, we'll join your circus.
Woo. Yes, we know that already.
And I am Groot.
I'm Woo.
Yes, I am Whoop. For the longest time, it's like, even though he kept saying it, I didn't think that was his name. I digress. So yeah, there's a tender moment where Rex is just like, oh no, we're doing this for you, child. And then he touches them on the shoulder, and then they turn back into normal. And then there's like the poignant scene where the dinosaur like walks away, and then fade out, and we fade back in.
La 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 la, tweet tweedly, tweet tweet. Birds.
We fade back in, and the two children are snuggled up together a little bit too closely
on a rug,
and the girl
in a clown's tent.
And the girl wakes up, and she immediately just kind of like daintily flicks him on the air, because it
doesn't really sync up. You're supposed to like flick him on the nose or something.
But yeah, they have that tender moment. It's like, oh hey, we woke up. Where are the dinosaurs? And then Stubbs the clown comes like, I brought pancakes.
Dry pancakes on a plate. No forks, no knives,
they don't
no
really eat.
Maple syrup. No, because half that plate is gone.
Yeah,
they inhaled those while talking.
Well, while watching Martin Short as a clown,
and he does some pretty funny little action with a fishbowl and fire.
I like the cartoony action in it, and it's pretty fun, and it's well animated. I don't have a problem with this character. Usually I would, you know? It's like when a character is just out of its way to be silly and goofy, it's like annoying. But with this one, it's just like, well, he kind of has a purpose. He's a clown that is trying to be funny in a scary circus.
And he said even himself, the circus changed over time.
Yeah. Which makes you wonder, it's like, did Screw Eyes not used to be evil?
The circus is too damn happy. I want to scare children.
I'm tired of this happy-go-lucky circus. I want to be a scary circus now.
Why hasn't he fired the clown? Like, you're too damn happy, Stubbs. You're out of here. Wait, boss. No, you're not scary.
Yeah, there was like some sort of thing. It's like if he made him laugh, then he would
put him
in the show. But I guess he's just like, well, I'm low on hands, so I kind of need this clown.
Well, I guess you could put on a big old gorilla suit and scare some people, and I guess I can use them. I want Screw Eyes, like the life and adventures of Screw Eyes, like outside the circus, where he's just like, well, I need eggs. I need to go to the store and pick up some milk, and then like just like the life of this awful human being.
Right.
So then they realize he shows them that the dinosaurs have degraded and they have to get them out of the show.
Yeah, we get a nice little show of how what a daily routine of the circus is. People like flying around in masks and scaring people. And meanwhile, the kids are just like, God, these people are like,
what's wrong with these people?
What the hell is wrong with these people?
They come here to get scared.
They come here to get scared. I'm scared, Abbott.
I'm bad. But the weird thing is, what did I make a joke? Because like, Louie's in a gorilla suit.
Yeah.
She's in like a weird, like almost like Crash Bandicoot with a trident suit,
like a wolf or something.
And then he's
Stubbs
in a lizard
in like a crocodile.
And I'm like,
thing.
oh, this new Rampage game looks great.
Yeah,
I want to get a screen cap.
We need to take a screenshot of that because it does look like Rampage.
Yeah. What the hell?
But yeah, it's like they're walking around while this is all happening, and it's like
they're playing like what sounds like the Beetlejuice theme.
Honestly,
the music sounds like Beetlejuice. And then like you see a bunch of elephants pulling in a giant pyramid.
Sad elephants.
Sad elephants. I'm like, this is Tim Burton's live action Dumbo coming out next year.
Yeah, they're pulling in this
the aggro crag from Nickelodeon Guts, which is like a lopsided pyramid.
Yeah, and I guess that's like, and now we're gonna show you monsters. And they reveal that the dinosaurs are now like evil and gnashing and everyone's freaked out. It's freaked out to the point that they lose their hair, like
piss their pants,
like explode, like their hair explodes from their head. That they're so goddamn scared of this that they're running up to the top of the rafters there.
Yeah,
and it's like, take 2 steps forward. And because he's like hypnotizing him, I guess is like
because he hypnotizes him with the screw. Because we get a lot of shots of these close-ups of his freaking screw eye.
Yeah,
and then I
guess he hypnotizes people because that was like a moment earlier where
what gave him magic powers that he can have magic screw eye.
I don't know. It's like
I'm gonna screw you mentally with my eyes.
He got his powers from getting his eye pecked out and then replacing it with a screw. We should try that sometime. See if we get some magic powers.
I volunteered you to do it. So, but anyway,
it's not working.
Wow, you're screwed. Shit. But there's at one point where a crow flies into the control deck where Skrillex is doing his music. And he flies in, and the crow
it's like
turns
a DJ,
on
doing all the pyrotechnics.
The crow turns on the flare lights.
Yeah, that crow is his undoing.
Yeah, and the crows are evil.
Yeah.
More evil than Screw Eyes.
Yeah, Jesus.
And
yeah, the crows are the real enemies, of the villains in this movie.
The crows in Central Park are evil.
And with that like deleted scene, he's just like, there was a berry that fell onto my eye, which is also kind of weird. But it's like,
was he laying upside down?
A crow
missed
the berry and poked my eye out. Then I was scared of crows, but I keep them close because I am their master. I am the master of fear. I'm the god. I am the god. And that whole scene was cut out, but it's kind of, I don't know. I still feel like it would have made it more.
It literally feels to me like Muppet Caper. Why are you telling me this? Plot exposition. Every movie has to have it.
Yeah, but anyway,
it's gotta go somewhere.
The crows like turn on a button which kind of flash into the eyes of the
flashes
dinosaurs.
A bright light and it knocks him out of the trance.
And then he gets all freaked out because now he has no control of the dinosaur, and the dinosaur picks him up with his tiny little arms, holding him up to his mouth, which I don't know how a T-Rex can do that, but there you go.
Yeah. And
then we get a moment where the kid comes up and they're like, No, Rex,
be a good guy.
Be a good guy, you mook. You big old.
Don't be a stiff. Don't be
a
spaghetti.
Rigmarole. Yeah, hey, don't be a
Sicilian pizza over there. Look at you, garlic knots.
And like, he is spouted so much like New York slang, and then, during his moment where it's supposed to be very like,
come on, Rex.
I know you're better than this. Don't be evil. Don't be mean. Don't eat him. And then
don't be what you were born to be.
Yeah, exactly. And
be a nice
apparently
guy.
this works.
And then he regresses into, or turns back into cartoony dinosaur.
But while this is happening, the girl on the end of the circus is basically like, let no bad happen.
Which is
a rather odd thing to say, but in the terms of like what you find out later, it's like Walter Cronkite's magic circus, or in the air himself, cuts open the top of the evil circus and starts like,
he comes down and disrupts the circus.
He disrupts the circus and he basically says like, I heard your wish. Let no bad happen. That's a good wish. And you kind of think it's like, well, wait, couldn't you have avoided this?
Well, let's see. Let no bad happen. Let's carpet bomb them with more dinosaurs.
But that's not what she says. She says it twice.
She says, let no bad happen.
She says, let no bad happen, but then is like,
please.
Before it's like, don't let bad or something. It's like, don't let it be bad. Don't let it be bad or something.
I don't know.
She says something else.
It sounded weird, but then when Walter, of course, anything that comes up, Walter Cronkite could say.
Oh, he made it sound great.
Makes sense. He says it made sense.
Yeah. So, Yeah, and then Screw Eyes is just kind of there, just like kind of watching
What
this.
the fuck is going on with my circus? Brother, what are you doing? You cut up my tent. That's a $20,000 tent.
Oh, you're my brother.
You dirty rat.
You dirty rat. Keep like going with mobsters with Screw Eyes. I don't know why.
I just keep doing this. I just keep doing kind of like
in a stinky bag.
In a stinky bag.
But yeah, he's just kind of like off in the corner watching all this happen.
And then they go and hug some dinosaurs.
Yeah, they hug dinosaurs.
Jay Leno shoots laser fireballs that blow up the shackles off the dinosaurs.
Yeah, on their necks.
Yeah, incoming, and like
I'm coming. Yeah.
And then they save them, and then
save the dinosaurs.
Stubbs quits. Yeah. It does this over the top, like let me give back all my shit, a whale tooth, and at one point he goes this long spiel where it's like a clamshell revealing a mermaid holding an American flag and my brother Richard, and he's just there, and I guess he's like an accountant or something.
Yeah.
And then he leaves. Mm-hmm. And then
it's just kind of funny, honestly.
And the great thing is, while all this like stuff is going on, people are still like in the crowd of the circus wondering, like,
and they're clapping and they're like enjoying this. And then they leave, but it's like immediately like the crowd just disappeared. Like because like, wait, brother, don't leave me.
I'm alone. I'm a
scared little boy.
And then the crows
surround him and then disappear. He disappears as the crows like disappear,
and then one takes his eye away.
One takes the screw, which falls on which is honestly probably the most grim visual I have ever seen in an animated movie.
What? Not the Horn King getting his skin ripped off at a cauldron.
Aside from also the fact that we saw like a fish turn into a man and drown, and slowly like
drift down a pipe.
And yeah,
it's ranks up there.
But it's on probably one of my top 10 most gruesome deaths of villains in animated films.
It's not even he's dead. They just sort of surround him and then disappear. They didn't eat him.
It's suggested that he's like was eaten by these crows.
But basically. They don't even do it. They just surround him. Then they just fly away.
Yeah, and they fly off.
They're magic Central Park crows.
Magic crows.
Don't trust them Central Park crows at night.
Yeah,
weird things happen in Central Park at night: muggings, shankings, crows engulfing people, and
I feel so like
violated by crows.
Well, no. No, I honestly feel that we were given such potential with Professor Screw Eyes, and the way the movie is presented and edited, it kind of like destroys all of that.
Right, there's the legitimacy of his evilness doesn't really come through.
But there is like so much potential there, and that it's like, you know, I keep crows near me because I'm afraid of them, but you know, it's a very Batman like idea. It's like
he's pretty much a Batman villain.
Yeah, he is. So
a 60s
unfortunately,
Batman villain.
I mean, unfortunately, he's very well animated, but it's like it doesn't fall through very well. I feel like he was rushed in this movie, very rushed. And
a lot of things in this movie felt
everything was kind of rushed in this movie because they had to explain so many weird things and elements to this movie. It's like all of a sudden they meet up with a kid, and then this kid has a story, and then they meet another
kid have a story, and then there's a basketball game where a kid smashes his own face in, and then there's a parade.
But either way, now they reached the Natural History Museum with
Dr. Bleeb.
Dr. Bleeb. With Julia Child.
Welcome. I gave up on you.
We'll only show the children, and then the adults will wait outside and see the wonder faces. And I kind of thought that idea was a little weird.
And then, of course,
like only kids are allowed, but
because the kids have imagination and shit.
Yeah, but the parents wouldn't be amazed by seeing like real life dinosaurs.
They wouldn't bring their kids to see real dinosaurs.
Or would they just freak out like they did in the middle of
They would. They probably would.
There's just like, I want to go into. It's like if you're an adult, you want to be scared. It's like that was the message that I got from this. Is like if you are an adult and you want to be entertained, you have to be scared.
Well, kids are the ones that wanted to see the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
parents don't give a shit about dinosaurs. They have Jurassic
Park. Not
Steven
Spielberg.
Yeah,
although maybe he's a big kid.
You see him in a balloon, like a child version of Spielberg in a balloon. I wish I could make a film about Dinosaurs.
Yeah. But then the movie ends on that good note where the dinosaurs meet up with
Yeah,
and that's the way it is. It's like a contractually obligated to say that or something.
That's how
Walter.
dinosaurs.
For those of you who don't know who Walter Cronkite is, he is a news. I guess
he was a famous newscaster,
and he had little segments
for CBS News. I'm Walter Cronkite.
Yeah, and he had segments of the news where he would just talk about a little story.
He was the face of the news for about 30 years.
And his catchphrase, or what he would always say afterwards, is, "And that's the way it is." And, I thought he was
a very unbiased.
Yeah.
He was the last of the great newscasters.
Yeah, and it very, very, like, I can't say enough good about Walter Cronkite because he's like Santa Claus.
He's kind of like, you wish he was your grandfather. He's a really great. And then the weird thing is, I realized this. I just realized it. And
I like Julia Child too, as well.
Julia Child.
I mean, she's an entertaining woman, but it's like in this movie, she was kind of like. I feel like she was.
I've been in this recording booth for 3 hours. I have a roast in the oven. Can I go and baste the chicken?
It's the same with Charles Fleischer. It's like. I feel like he was kind of wasted in this movie in that he wasn't really given a whole lot of lines. He was given a character that was just kind of like, bah, bah, just do that for like every scene you're in.
And then you have a guy who just says, "I'm Woog."
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it's like we have a person.
Now I really want.
We have Vin Diesel who just says things like, "I am Groot," and he gets paid like millions of dollars to just do that. So whatever. But I in terms of like the voice cast, it's like it's all over the place, but
it's entertaining in its own way.
It's entertaining in its own way. It's like the voice cast is not a bad thing. It's just they're kind of given some dumb things to say, and a lot more. Some characters are given better performances than others. But yeah, we end the movie and then we remember, oh yeah, this is about a movie where a dinosaur playing golf is telling this story to a bird. And then the bird flies up, hugs his mom, gets teased by his brothers, and then he goes like, just razzes them, and then there's like there was an audible gasp from his brothers. Just go like, oh, did you see that? He loves them. Oh my God, he loves his mother. He loves his mom. We love him too, but not that much. No.
And then the thing I realized just now, he's up on the top of a building playing golf. How does he get down?
Was he on a building?
He's on the top of a building in New York City.
Why is there a golf course on the top of a building? No, wait, no, that's.
Look it up.
Okay.
How did he get up? How does he get down?
I didn't see that. Stuck? I thought it was a field, and then there was some weird buildings around it. I didn't think it was on the top of a building. But yeah, anyway, John Goodman does his Bing Crosby impression. We end with
Little Richard sings "Roll Back the Rock."
Yeah. Wait, hold on a minute. This bandstand wasn't double bullet.
Hey, wait a minute, hold on here. That's James Brown.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Little Richard.
Fuck.
Little Richard goes,
shit.
That's Little Richard.
That's Little Richard. Okay, shit. I'm sorry.
Tutti Frutti, all right.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God. Okay, so yeah, that's a dinosaur. We're back at Dinosaur Story,
and we're tired.
We're tired. But I hope you enjoyed.
Well, we got to read a little trivia about this movie.
Oh yes,
like who was originally supposed to play Screw Eyes?
Who was originally okay? Here was a piece of trivia that was great. Jay Leno, who provides the voice of Vorb, did his work 3 years before the movie hit theaters. So I don't know. I guess
honestly, they could have recorded it years before, but the thing is, they probably tried to figure out how to fit the dialogue the shit that was spewing out of his fucking mouth. I'm sorry, I have a whole vendetta against Jay Leno.
Right,
that's a story for another day. But
yeah,
I have a personal relationship, or not a relationship.
And of course, Jurassic Park was plastered all over this movie because that was right after. But yeah, John Malkovich was initially cast as Professor Screw-Eyes, and he was recast after test screenings, which I find that kind of funny.
Maybe that's why. Maybe they Kenneth Mars dubbed over stuff he already animated.
Maybe, but with John Malkovich, it's like. My eye was taken away from me by crows. I feared them. But I also admire them. I hate John Malkovich, honestly. I every time I see him in a movie, I'm just like... The thing is like, I thought he was revered as such a, like, fantastic actor, but he's like those actors like Christopher Walken and stuff, where it's
superior like, acting talent.
Yeah, where it's like their acting is so them that you can't not admire them for what they do. They don't
play a character; they play themselves.
Right,
like George Takei and everything.
Right,
it's always just, oh my, you are the great turkey.
We can't go back to that. Yeah.
Oh God.
So yeah, that's we're back.
And we are back.
And we are back.
We're expecting to do more movies.
And yeah, be sure to check back for more We're backs. Yeah, so
can we do a good movie next time?
Well, all right, we'll do a good movie next time. All right. We're gonna go.
It's funny though, because like with this movie, as a kid, I remember watching it and liking it, and I didn't realize how awkward it was until we watched it again.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that I can.
Some movies grow on you as you get older, and some movies just sort of disappear off your radar.
It's not necessarily a bad movie. It's just a badly.
It's a jumble.
Yeah, I can't necessarily say that it's a terrible movie because the animation is pretty good. But I mean, that's not going to save it. It's seriously going to be just, what it is. And there's scenes in the movie that are fun to see just by themselves, I would say. The whole chase scene where the dinosaurs are being chased all through the city, I think that's a fun scene. That's a really, it's a well animated,
the parade is cool.
Fun. Yeah.
It's cool seeing Woody Woodpecker as a balloon.
That's what you take out of this?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I like Woody Woodpecker as a balloon.
I think the image on this episode should be just the popped Rex balloon.
If I can find it.
It's on Google.
I'm sure it is.
I'm sure you can find it.
All right. But, yeah, so that's Animated Anarchy. We hope you enjoyed this little...
I hope you tolerated us.
This little review and discussion over We're Back, a Dinosaur Story. We, if you have not heard our podcast before, and I mean, you should have already now, we discuss animated movies that are both...
We try to take a more... I mean, everyone likes to shit on a movie.
Yeah.
But we try to at least be a little more critical in our discussion.
We like to discuss the good portions of it, the bad portions of it, and by the end of it, we just kind of like
more constructive.
Yeah, we're not like, oh God, this is shit. We shouldn't have watched this, and neither should you. Fuck you.
I'm playing a character right now.
Yeah,
We're Back, a Dinosaur.
I feel that we provide a bit of a service to folks who are curious about animated movies because, we being animators ourselves, working in the industry, we realize that people worked on this stuff.
Yeah, like, I mean, honestly, I think this is like, We're Back is not a super great movie. Mm-hmm. It's worth checking out, though. I think the positives of this movie... There are negatives, but like I think there's some good stuff in it that will at least entertain you. Yeah, and you'll be like, I'm amused at least.
And also, as people who have worked in the animation industry, we also realize that we work on some shitty things as well. So, not necessarily saying that we're working on something shitty right now.
It's not really.
I'm just saying that we realize that things don't turn out the way we want them to sometimes.
And also, it's a job.
It's also a job.
The talent or the skill of an artist should not be reflected based on the movies they've worked on.
And a lot of things that, in the animation industry, or like, I mean, just in movies in general, we're just like, that was all right. It wasn't great. It was mediocre, but you know, whatever. It's like that all over the entertainment industry. So we try to keep an open mind about these sort of things. So if you enjoy the podcast, please listen to our previous episodes. We talked about
David and the Magic Pearl. Rock and Roll.
I think one of my favorite personal episodes is Help, I'm a Fish.
Jungle Book 2, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun too. But yeah, it was. I like to find. Sometimes it's like if it's a movie that we haven't necessarily seen, and we sometimes surprise ourselves.
Yeah, we would get people saying, "Check out this one," and we're like, "Okay," and then we were pleasantly surprised that it was a decent movie.
Yeah,
like Help I'm a Fish, I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah, that was a very interesting because we weren't expecting it to be a good movie.
Yeah,
and so you should listen to the podcast.
You'll find out one.
And if you would like to find us, we are on Facebook. We are on facebook.com/animated anarchy cast. That is probably the best place where you can find any information about us. You want to discuss with us about animated stuff or about the podcast in general, and give us a like. That's probably the best way you can. Also, you can find us on iTunes and Stitcher. Please give us favorable reviews. That would be very much appreciated.
It would be favorable.
It would be favorable to favorite our favorable reviews. I don't know what the hell I just said, but please give us 5 stars. 4 would be nice, but 5 would be preferable. We're not asking you to lie, but please lie and say that we're a good podcast.
We're not asking you to lie, but lie.
Please at least give us a nice review on there. So with that, also you can help provide monetization for the show by going to my Patreon, my personal Patreon, which is everything that I do. This is like my production studio sort of Patreon. It's patreon.com/AWD. I've changed it since a couple months ago. I felt it was better to just kind of generalize the podcast and every other sort of project that I do. This is basically just a little help for the booster because I provide all the
He does the stuff.
Yeah, I do the things.
I literally just come here and sit here and yell at a microphone. He has to set up everything. He's got the equipment.
And it's also helping to pay for Mike's lunch, which we're going to be doing in quite a bit.
I'm so hungry.
Yeah, we should eat.
I'm stovulating.
But yes, if you can, please just put in just a couple of bucks. Even $1 helps. That's patreon.com/AWD. And with that, Mike, where could people see you?
I'm on Twitter.
Would you like to elaborate on that?
I have a Twitter. It's a guy who draws.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a Tumblr, which is just michaeljruocco.tumblr.com.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I look at the Facebook, the Animated Anarchy Facebook page, and you can find me there.
Yeah, awesome. So yes, and I am at AWDTWIT. That's AWD Twit, odd twit. That is me on Twitter. And you can also find me on Tumblr. I'm at AWD Place, AWDPLACE.
.tumblr.com.
.tumblr.com. And that's where I usually post, funny stuff or my artwork.
I force him to draw Disney pictures.
Yes, Mike constantly gives me ideas for terrible, terrible ideas.
I got one for you right now.
Oh, no.
You know the comedian Yurkov Smirnov?
If you say this right now on the podcast, that is probably gonna deem people to bother me until I actually draw this.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to do it, go ahead.
Well, you still got to do Jiminy Glicket.
Oh, God damn it! Now, all right. So now I got to do Jiminy
Well,
Glicket.
the one I was gonna say was, the comedian Yurkov Smirnov?
Yeah.
Hook off Smirnov.
Gotcha.
And it's Hook and Smee doing and oh no, you could do Yeah. Well.
Yeah, I get this every day, guys.
I turn around. I'll be at work, and I'll turn around and be like, "Hey, Andrew," and he goes, "Oh God, what?" And I'll say, "Blue Man Group."
This is why we stopped work. This is why we stopped doing the podcast
because he was too busy doing my fantasy, my Disney Nintendo mashup fantasies.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Animated Anarchy. I'm Andrew,
and I'm Mike.
Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time.
Bye.